Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Pride Podcast, episode 365 on the Blue Wire Network. I am your host, Tyler, joined by my man Guy, as always. Pierre, how are you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling great. You know, the Lions won again. Cue the music. You got the music?
Let's pull it up real quick on my Spotify. Why not? Keep
Let's
singing.
do that. No, man, what
Uh,
a great win, man. I mean, my heart was pounding at the end. I felt like I was about to have a fucking heart attack.
there we go. There we go. Lions won again, baby. What a fucking game, baby. What a game, man. Is that not just a game that's like everything they stand for as an organization, the grit mentality? That is exactly what they play for. And that's what that product showed today on the field, man. What a freaking game, man. What a freaking game.
Yeah. I mean, you start off like just bad my bad. What do you call it? Dan Campbell. I don't know what he was doing on that fourth down. I hated that call. Awful. Puts his defense bad situation. Then you got Terran Arnold kind of messes up. Arnold played really well in that one play. Arnold messes up. Easy touchdown for Aaron Jones. After that, you got the Lions scoring like 4 straight touchdowns, I think. They scored like 28 points, I think it was.
Yeah.
They scored 28 points. Then towards the end, you got a Monty fumble. They took it to the house. They're up. I'm like, oh shit, man. Here we go again. Here we go. The cardiac cats are coming again. And then, Dan Campbell talks about resilience. They talk about grit. They talk about never giving up. And, I mean, Jared Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs on that drive were phenomenal, especially Jared Goff. He made those throws, man. Jared Goff is an MVP. He should be in the MVP combo right now, just the way he's been playing.
Man, where was your heart at when, we got the stop on defense and, we have about 2 minutes and some change, 2 timeouts. Where's your heart rate at, and where's your confidence level as far as the Lions winning this game at that point?
I was a little concerned about the pass pro, I'm not going to lie, because the last 2 drives, they didn't hold up. But then you saw they did max protection. You saw that. Like, they literally kept guys in for protection, and then Jared Goff just found someone open and threw it to him. So that was a really good adjustment by Ben Johnson there towards the end. The run game, obviously, Gibbs had a couple big runs. So I was confident, Tyler, but I was a little worried about the left side. They were pressuring that left side a little bit.
Yeah. So I don't know if people have been tuning in because I just got it on Twitter now. So a little bit delay. So sorry if you guys missed the beginning of the show, but we've talked a little bit about the beginning of that game. What an unbelievable game for anyone who's just tuning in right now on the live show. But yeah, man, Pierre, when we got that ball back, once the defense stops, I'm like, man, we got this, dude. Ben Johnson's going to get in his bag. We only need a field goal. I was pretty confident at that point. Like, it was sickening how confident I was at that point that we were going to win the game at at the end of it.
Yeah, once Jared Goff completed that pass, was it to St. Brown? I think it was St. Brown, right?
Yes, man. That's all reliable.
Once you saw that, I'm like, all right, bro, this is over. They just run the clock down, that's what they did, but they need it. They were safe. They don't want to fumble it again. They just need it. Like, all right, Jake Bates, come win this for us. And they made Minnesota burn all their timeouts. A really, really good time management by Dan Campbell. Really good.
Yeah. And the broadcast, Greg Olson, he was a little critical on it. He goes like, "What are we doing here? I don't like the running out the clock when you're not in field goal range and you're down. Like, do they forget they're not in lead?" But I feel like the Lions, they do this pretty often. Like at the end of the half, I feel like they're so confident that they're gonna get points, or they're very confident like how fast they could pick up big plays. So they let the clock run out pretty often. They're very confident, and they didn't want to give Minnesota too much time left. And obviously, only gave him 15 seconds left, 0 timeouts. Like, you felt pretty good about that. And, the referees tried to give him another play. And that was bullshit. And I'm glad that Aaron Glenn just sent the house and just got that game over with. So beautiful stuff by the team in general, man. This is a good product, a good football team, man. It's just a good football team, what we were seeing right now. And that's a gritty game, man. That was a tough matchup, man. For first place in division, tough environment. You lose your star player on defense. You lose your heart and soul. That is as gritty as a game as it gets, man. So kudos to that Detroit Lions team, man. They played their asses off in this game, man. They played their absolute asses off. So
yeah, just one thing I just want to bring up real fast. 27 carries, 144 yards, 5.3 on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Minnesota cannot really stop the run. we talked about them being like they were one of the top run defenses in the NFL, but we mentioned like they haven't really played a running game like Detroit's, and Detroit kind of dominated on the ground, and then that opened up the passing game a little bit. So that was
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah. All right. Let's start off with this Ben Johnson Lions led offense. Peter, where do you start with this game? I mean, it was as sloppy as a start as you could ask for out of the Detroit Lions. That first quarter was very, very bad out of that Lions offense. Go down 10-0 very quickly. You see Dan Campbell pull a fake punt on 4th and 7 and on
That's
on
really
their own side
dumb.
of the ball. Just don't really love the play call there. But overall, takeaway from the Lions offense in this game versus Minnesota.
They were balanced. They kind of did whatever they wanted to do. Like obviously a protection a little. Coyote Oshika, I mean, he can't do that, man. The guy had his worst game. But they made plays when they needed them. When they needed their plays, they made them, and that's what great teams do. So, I mean, you saw Jared Goff. I mean, 22 for 25, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, 140 passer rating. I mean, this guy's been playing out of his mind over the last few weeks.
Absolutely, man. He's played as clean as a game as he can, man. Like he's been great, making big plays. We said in the pregame, let's get Amon-Ra, Sam Brown more involved. They did that today. It was a good matchup, man, and that's as good of a matchup you're going to get on both sides of the ball as you'll get in the NFL between an offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. Brian Flores is a phenomenal play caller, and he threw a bunch of different looks at this Lions offense, and it worked at sometimes, but for the most part, man, Ben Johnson just had the right answer, how to respond to that Brian Flores defense. And now you're looking at the last 3 matchups. Jared Goff and the Lions-led offense have beaten the Brian Flores. And, they showed the graphic. It's a chess game. I said before the game, it's going to be a chess game.
Yeah,
Ben Johnson's winning these chess matches right now, even against
absolutely.
arguably the best defensive coordinator in the NFL right now.
One thing is Jared Goff last year was really good against us. I believe this year he's number 1 right now. So it's not a good idea to blitz him. And we talked about that. We said on the show, like on our not pregame show, on our matchup show, blitz him, Flores. We want you to blitz. And it happened. And then obviously you saw Sam Darnold. We said he was also really good against the blitz. When AG blitzed him, he burned him kind of. So, I mean, it's like you said, it's a chess matchup between both teams.
Yeah. I mean, the offense was very, very impressive, especially going down. I mean, that's something we haven't seen on this team yet, really. I mean, as sloppy as a starter you could ask for, kind of trying to come back and out of it. Like, for the most part in the Lions victories this year, it's like they've kind of got off to a good start and just kind of held their own the rest of the way. Like this was the first time we kind of saw them really go through some adversity, go down 2 scores early on. And it looked like everything was all momentum towards Minnesota in the beginning of the game, playing in their stadium. And I think you can make an argument. Here. This was like the real first Lions road game, if that makes sense. Like I feel like this was the first real time where, they had to do the silent call or the silent count, and the fans were obviously great in Detroit. They've been traveling like crazy, but I feel like this was like the first real road game the Lions have really experienced this year, honestly, so far.
Yeah, the crowd was much louder. There was some Lions fans, but Minnesota fans don't sell their tickets as much as other fans.
Exactly.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Kind of like Detroit, they don't really sell their tickets as well. So, I mean, yeah.
Yep. All right. I want to talk about this defense now, and this Aaron Glenn-led defense, man. It's unbelievable. This one is unbelievable because offensively, we knew it was going to be, a back and forth, 2 good coordinators, but the offense has all their ammo. We knew we would be able to punch at this Minnesota Vikings defense, but defensively, a lot of question marks coming into the week, right? Obviously you lose Aiden Hutchinson this week. You don't know how you're going to look defensively. Just starting off with the defensive line, what were your takeaways watching this defensive line, without Aiden Hutchinson there?
I wanted an answer what they will do. They basically played everyone and like on different times and different roles. You saw Isaac Uku, I thought kind of played well. He played a lot. Malcolm Rodriguez played a little of that edge spot. We saw Trevor Nowaski there at the end get a sack there. He played a little bit as well. Josh Pascal, I thought, played well. But the problem is, though, we knew these guys were 2 really good tackles, Darisaw and O'Neal. And we said they had to get pressure from the interior. Seems like they did get pressure there, but just didn't hit home. That I don't know, man. I would add another body just after watching today. I know these are 2 really good tackles, but maybe just add it doesn't have to be a star. It could be like a depth piece, like a Josh Uche, a Darius Smith. Those are the guys that are available right now. Maybe Azeez Ojulari. is just it's hard, bro. Like when you get in the playoffs, like right now you get by in decent, but when you get in the playoffs, it's hard to win. You're going to be playing good O lines. You're going to be playing good quarterbacks and all that. It's hard. The secondary I thought held well. You saw Darnold hold on to the ball a little too long at times, which means the coverage was good. And we talked about that as well. When teams play man against Darnold, he struggles a little bit. So it's just hard. You gotta somehow generate more pressure.
Yeah, and something where if you listen to the pregame show where I wasn't as optimistic about, and you kind of hit it right in the nail, honestly, and you're absolutely right, but I was still a little skeptical. Even with not having the greatest defensive line right now, at least edge rushers right now, you're missing a big piece with Aiden Hutchinson. You're losing Marcus Davenport, right? And
Derek Barnes.
you're trotting out there a lot of backup players or a lot of rotational players out there, and it didn't get as home as much as you like it to be, but the secondary and the linebacker room, I thought really, really carried this defense, and they found
Yeah.
ways to still get stops, even in this environment, playing a guy like Justin Jefferson, who's just absolutely freaking phenomenal. Jordan Addison is also a great receiver as well. So like finding ways to get stops, even when your pass rush is not getting home, and Sam Darnold has a lot of time in the pocket, is really, really impressive, and that shows the big difference of the Lions defense from the past to this one right now. Obviously it's not going to be as sexy without Aiden Hutchinson, but it can get by. And I agree with you. I think they still need to add a body and go make a trade or something like that. But for the most part, man, you feel a lot more confident when you have linebackers playing the way that they played, the secondary playing the way that they played. I thought Brian Branch was absolutely phenomenal once again, and he's just proven right now to be the best safety in the NFL right now. And another guy I want to give a big shout out to, I thought Malcolm Rodriguez had a very, very good game. They asked a bigger role out of him. I thought he played really well. And Alex Anzalone just being consistent like he always has been since he's gotten here, having another really good game. I thought they did a very good job. And even with Aaron Jones, for the most part, he broke that big run in the first quarter, first drive. But other than that, I thought for the most part they held the run game pretty accountable. And that was a big ask, without Aiden Hutchinson, and how was that going to respond? I thought for the most part they did a pretty good job at holding the run, or at least containing the run, and not letting them, get gashed and get killed by it.
So Aaron Jones had a longer 34 that run than Darnold had a 19. I feel like after that, like if you take those two runs out, I think the run defense was pretty solid.
Right.
Obviously, we've seen better, but I mean, it's kind of going to be like just to see how these guys gel together. A lot of them haven't played together on the D line and stuff, so I thought it was solid. I wouldn't say it was great, but I thought they were solid.
I agree. I mean, we knew it was not going to be the same, at least it was without, Hutchinson out there, but for the most part, responding well. And this was a tough matchup, a team that's run the ball really well so far this year with with acquiring Aaron Jones and, their offensive tackles that they have here. So it was a good response. I mean, the first one, the first quarter, it looked like just complete miscommunication between Ukwu and Terran Arnold. It was just a complete broken play. Obviously, he breaks the big run, but like you said,
That's on Arnold.
Other than that, I thought they did a very good job as far as holding the run and just not letting it be a huge problem. And I wouldn't say you necessarily made them one dimensional, but you did a good job getting stops when you need to get stops, and that's been the formula for this Lions defense so far this year. Is like when they need to get stops, they are able to get those stops in big situations. We've seen it game in, game out. And this was just another one of those games. Your offense has a bad 3 and out. Jared Goff gets sacked. Defense needs a big response. They don't let them kill that much time, force an incompletion pass. I mean, that's big time stuff, man. When they need the stop, gave the offense an opportunity to go out there, have some time, keep your timeouts, and go win that game. So big time stuff out of Aaron Glenn out of this defense, man. He's getting the best out of these guys right now.
Yeah, I agree. And shout out to Shap too, man. He got those linebackers playing at a really high level.
Absolutely. All right. I want to talk a little bit more about these safeties, though. I mean, can we just talk about how good of a player Brian Branch has been for this Detroit Lions team?
Hey, bro, I'm going to be honest. I had him top 10 coming out. I don't know how the hell he fell to the second round. And then when I saw the Lions are trading up with the Packers, I was like, please be Brian Branch. I mean, we were talking about it in our chat. Yeah. It has to be Branch, and it was. The guy is just a dog, man. He's a first-team All-Pro. He's the best player on defense, clearly, after Hutch went down. I mean, someone, I was in a group chat, someone said We had Shaq and Kobe, but we lost Shaq. We still have Kobe, meaning touch. And it was a good analogy. I liked it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, man. I mean, Brian Branch is an absolute stud, dude. I mean, he is right now on pace to be the best safety in the league right now. He's playing at an unbelievable rate right now. Another turnover for him. Just a tackling machine too, man. Every time you need a big tackle out of him, you could just rely on him. He's not going to be one of those guys that's going to miss tackles. And that's something I think this coaching staff appreciates more than sometimes the turnovers. Obviously, the turnovers are great. The pass breakups are great, but like getting tackles, don't let a small dumper come into a big play. And that's something that Brian Branch will never let happen. He is just a Mr. Consistent. He's a great tackler. I love him, man. The guy is, he was already really good last year in the nickel. He is taking his game to a whole different level at the safety right now. He is absolutely unreal right now.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he's a special player, man. Like I said, I had him in the top 10. I don't know how the hell he fell to the second, but shout out to Brad Holmes for going up and getting him, and shout out to the Packers for giving us him. So I'll take it.
You're seeing it kind of finally come in all together, right? Like, obviously, we knew Brad's drafts were really good, but like you're seeing these like players that were really good. You're kind of seeing them come into superstars now. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson before the injury was coming into a superstar. Brian Branch right now is coming into a superstar. Kirby Joseph is playing at a very high level right now. Like you're seeing Brad's draft class going back to the offensive ball. Jahmyr Gibbs having an absolute, unbelievable day today. Like you're seeing all of his draft picks kind of come together and take that level from being good, being great. Now they're coming to those superstar levels, man. If you play Madden, like they're gonna get X Factor soon. That like Brian Branch is good at X Factor. He's at that level now. He's playing at an X Factor level right now, and he's been unbelievable, man. He's been unbelievable.
We talk about guys you circle on defense. I think he's a guy now you circle on defense. And I think his running mate also is a guy you circle on defense.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Between those safeties, man, they're playing great right now. And Kirby had an up and down year last year. This year he's been, just been very consistent, man. Very good year for Kirby so far. And him paired alongside Brian Branch has been very, very, very good for this football team, man.
Yeah.
Shout out AG, man. Shout out AG, man. Getting the best out of these guys, dude. Really is.
Yep.
All right. Pierre, you got the honor. First show of the year, first live show of the year. You get to give away 3 game balls today.
All right. Number 3, we're going to a guy we just talked about, Brian Branch. He was all over the field. They showed like on the broadcast a few times where he was like 15 yards deep, then he runs up, then he's like close to the line, he runs back deep. So really good disguising and smart player. Number 2 is Jake Bates, made that clutch field goal. I have to add Bates in here, The number 1 is Jared Goff. I mean, I talked about it earlier. He was phenomenal. There was that one drive, I want to say it was in the second quarter, where he changed the entire play. He changed the protection. And he got, I think, a first down on that. And then later in that drive, he avoided this like strip fumble, stepped up in the pocket, and I think it was Raymond or Patrick he threw the ball to.
I think it was Raymond, if I'm not mistaken.
Raymond. Okay. Yeah. But you know which play I'm talking about. I mean, that drive was all him. He changed that play completely, changed the protection, everything, and then threw it to Raymond. Then obviously later, the game's on the line. What do the Lions do? They put it in the quarterback's hands. They trust him, and he makes the play. I mean, this guy's been phenomenal the last few weeks. He should be in the MVP combo if he's not already. I think it's time to put him in that conversation. It really is.
Yeah. And shout out to Khalif Raymond, man. I know that's a guy they've been kind of mentioning the last couple of weeks that they want to get him more involved in. They got him involved today. Got him a touchdown today, and almost had a big play, man. If Goff didn't get disrupted by Van Ginkel in that play, that would have been a nice, huge play. Potentially another touchdown for Raymond too. So
yeah,
shout out to Khalif Raymond having a big game too, because I know they've been wanting to do that for the last couple of weeks. So they got him involved finally, and you're seeing this receiving core kind of really finally coming together. I know Jamo didn't have the greatest game today, or as far as making plays, he was a great blocker. But as far as catching the ball and having big plays, we didn't really see it today. But you're seeing this receiving core really come together with St. Brown, Jamison, Raymond, Tim Patrick. Patrick's been a great pickup as well for this Lions team.
I mean, it's like, okay, if you want to take Jamo out, that's fine. We'll give it to Saint. If you want to take Saint out, we'll give it to Jamo. We'll give it to Laporta. Like, it's pick your poison,
Yeah.
Way too many weapons to scheme up against.
We're eventually going to have a Laporta game soon. I've been saying every week, we're going to have it very soon. He's going to have that one big game where like he did last year, and it's just like you said, you're gonna have to pick your poison. Like, you're gonna try to take all these guys out if someone's gonna be open. You can't take everyone out. There's just too many pieces on this Lions offense to take out. So, yeah, I like your 3 game balls. Shout out to Jake Bates, man. Clutch motherfucking kick, dude.
Yep.
44 yards. That's the biggest kick he's ever had in his entire life, man. I mean, that's big time stuff, man. And the coaching staff being very confident in him. They could have been a little more risky and maybe pick up a couple more yards, but they were comfortable where they were. And they said, you know what? We're going to kick it from 44, and we have all the faith in Jake Bates is going to go win this game, and made his coach look right and went out there and got a huge kick and, obviously won the game now. So absolute big time stuff out of Jake Bates, man. That's huge. And like you said, out of golf to get him in range.
Yep.
All right. Oopsie doopsie of the week. This one was a little tough, but I hate doing this because he actually is my favorite player on this team. Yeah, you put it in the chat. It's David Montgomery, man. I love David Montgomery. He's my favorite player on this football team, but that fumble was very, very critical, man. You were up at that point. You're trying to, burn a little clock, get a couple first downs, maybe get a couple points, and, put this game away. David Montgomery fumbles the ball. Minnesota picks it up, takes it for 6. And it almost looked like it was going to kill this football team. But they, there's still a lot of time obviously left, and, they did what they had to do. So, yeah, oopsie doopsie, unfortunately, this week is going to be my boy, David Montgomery. I don't expect him to be on this list ever again, honestly.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, he's just that beast. Unfortunately, it just happened. Shout out to him, though. He got hurt in that game. He barely could walk, and then he went to medical. I don't know what they did. Then he went on the bike, came back in. But, yeah, that fumble was really costly. I mean, it swung momentum.
100%. Yeah. I mean, you were up. You're trying to burn clock, and then they get a fumble 6. I mean, it was a complete game changer. Shout out to the defense, too, man, stopping it for being a 2-point conversion, because that's, not something that's going to look sexy on the stat sheets, but it's a completely different game now. Jake Bates' game-winning field goal turns into a game-tying field goal at that point. So,
yeah,
even after that huge momentum switch, like, the defense goes out there, get a big stop, and still leaves the opportunity to go out there and win the game with the field goal instead of tying the game. So,
right,
it's little stuff like that this football team is doing right now, and that's why they are where they are right now, 5-1 and leading the division right now and winning a big game in Minnesota.
Yeah, and Minnesota had 2 weeks to prepare for Detroit. They were on a bye week, and Ben Johnson really carved them up. So shout out to Ben and Jared Goff and that Lions offense.
Yeah, man. Jahmyr Gibbs played absolutely phenomenal too today. Was great.
Yeah,
today.
I mean, there was a lot of guys who played great. Yeah.
He's one of those guys you could have mentioned on your ball of the weeks, but there was a lot of different guys you can't name everybody. So
you can't. You're right.
Yeah. So all right. Here, you got anything else to add on this game?
No, that's about it, man.
Okay. All right. Well, we're 5-1. Lions won again. We'll be here next week to preview the Tennessee Titans back at Ford Field after 2 road games, picking up 2 road victories. Let's go win another one. Let's go 6-1. Why not?
All right. Titans, I mean, it's an NFL team,
Is Mason Rudolph starting this week or next week?
Does it really matter?
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Ford Field's gonna be rocking too. They haven't had a home game in a minute. They're gonna be rocking.
Yeah, it's a day game as well, which is, I feel like all the games have been night games, most of them.
Outside of Tampa, yeah. I mean, you had the Sunday night game and then the Monday night game. So Ford Field will be rocking. They're ready to go. They've had 3 weeks off, so they're ready to go. All right, guys. Hope you guys all enjoyed. That is episode 365. Like I said, we'll see you guys later on in the week. We'll preview the Tennessee Titans. I'm Tyler. I'm out, guys. Peace.
All right, guys. I'm out. Peace.